In this video, I'm going to tell you a story. The story of probably the lowest point of my self-improvement journey and how I was going to literally give it all up because I felt like my life wasn't going anywhere. I felt like I was on self-improvement for years and my life was pretty much at the same place as I started and I wasn't going anywhere. And it all happened in this very apartment. In this apartment where my parents live, and I used to live here until last year, and it all happened in this apartment around a year and a half ago. My life was like this. I was the last year in high school living with my parents. I had my YouTube channel where I was making videos, which was making me $400, $500 every single month. And as my side gig, I was editing videos for other YouTubers because the money that I was making from my YouTube channel was not enough. So I was actually working for lower than the minimum wage per hour. From editing, I was making like $600, $700 a month. So in total, I would make something like 1.2K every month. And that means when you look at the math, if I was working full-time at McDonald's, flipping burgers, I would probably make more money than I was making from my video editing, from my YouTube, all my side gigs. And one day I woke up from this very bed at around 7 a.m. I still remember the day. And the first thing that I did was I just literally picked up my phone for like 10 minutes, scroll, classical unproductive people habits, and learned the lesson, don't do that. And then I hopped onto my desk to edit a client video. So my goal is to edit for a few hours for a client of mine, and then have breakfast, and then go to the gym, and then come back and continue editing. Well, I had no idea that life had completely another plan for me. So I start editing. It's been 1 hour, 2 hours, and then my phone rings. It's my girlfriend. At this point, we've been dating for like a year, and because of the fact that I used to live in my parents' apartment, and the apartment is not that like huge, I always felt like when I was talking to my girlfriend on the phone, I always felt like my parents could always like hear me. You know, it's not like a big of an apartment, and if they're at home, it kind of felt like that. So what I decided to do is do the same, go outside, talk to my girlfriend, and just be on the walk. So basically, I'm walking down this exact street that you see right here, and I'm on the phone arguing with my girlfriend, and in the moment, it feels like it's the biggest deal in the world. Like, it's like the biggest deal in the world in the moment. When I look back right now, like, honestly, stupid argument, shit happens every single week, you know, the classical things. But then in the moment, you probably understand, like, it didn't feel like that in the moment when I was having the argument. And by the way, FYI, that was the day I decided not to take any relationship arguments before 5 p.m. on the workday. My ass is busy, I can't be bothered. And if there are ladies watching this, don't argue with your man before 5 p.m. Let him actually get some work done. So basically, the situation is we argue for like a solid half an hour. And then I'm feeling like, I have so much work to do, I have clients waiting, I have sponsorships waiting, I have to upload a video for my YouTube channel, and I gotta go to the gym, I gotta get some protein in, I haven't eaten yet, and all of these things, and I'm feeling like shit. It's gonna be a shit day. But that's okay, whatever. So, I wash up, I get back home, I get back to the computer, and I start editing a video of mine. And then the moment I finish that video, I slap on the specific sponsorship, the second sponsorship of the month, and then I export it, upload to YouTube, and send the link to the second sponsor. And bear in mind, I only have 2 sponsorships for that month, so that's literally how I'm gonna make my money, plus my video editing clients. So right after that, I also get back to my computer, editing videos for another client. I have a meal, a few hours pass, and then I kid you not, I get this email from the second sponsor. Ahmet, we didn't really like the explanation that you made for our tool, so we decided not to go through with the sponsorship. Basically, these guys agreed with me on like a 60-second deal in a video of mine. And then when I made the 60-second video, they basically asked me, hey Ahmet, can you add this to? Can you add this to? Can you add this to? And the video would have been, in the end, the sponsorship would have been not 1 minute, but like 2 to 3 minutes. But they only wanted to pay for the 60 seconds, for the 1 minute. And obviously, I did not want to go through with that deal because I didn't want to, either you gotta pay me for the 3 minutes that you want me to make, or like, it's just gonna be a minute. You know, that's what we agreed on. That's what it says in the contract. So basically, I lost 4 hours. I lost most of my YouTube income the entire month because I lost both of the sponsorships, and I was having a shit day. Now I'm having a shit day. Again, whatever. A few hours pass, and then around the evening time, I'm supposed to have a meeting with a friend of mine who I'm also editing videos for. And this guy is my biggest client, and he's paying me something like, $500 a month around dish, and considering the fact that I was only making 1.2K, and I already lost 2 of the sponsorships, which is like half, right? This guy is kind of like my main source of income. So I'm ready, I'm gonna hop into the meeting, thinking that it's going to be a normal classical meeting, where he kind of like gives me the video files that I am supposed to edit for the entire week, and I'm thinking that's gonna be the case. but that wasn't the case. This guy, who is still actually a friend of mine, who is still a good friend of mine, he looks like he hasn't slept for like 3-4 days. Hair all messed up, clothes all messed up, and I'm like, what's up, dude? And then he goes, bro, it's not good. Basically, this is the situation. The guy lives in US, and I live in Turkey at the time, and I'm not like a registered employee of this guy. It's just that he kind of made a deal with me where I was supposed to edit some videos for him, and he was gonna send some money. Like, that was the literal deal. There wasn't no contract, I wasn't an employee, and basically it turns out that you can't really do that in the US because of some legal issues, right? He had 2 other guys who were editing videos, editing podcasts, doing like content creation with him. And he had like these 3 people in total, including me. And turns out you kind of can't do that because, you have to register these people as like an employees. But then when you do that, you have to pay a lot of taxes. So the deal where he was sending $500 to get the videos edited doesn't make sense because now he has to pay like so much more. So this guy is at a very tough spot and he has these 3 people part-time kind of like working for him and he can only take 1 full-time and that's it. And he says, I gotta let you go. If I can solve the situation, I'll call you back up. But for the time being, like, bro, I don't have anything in my hands. Like, I can't do anything. I have to let you go. And bro, that day, both of my sponsorships, which means my income for the month, and my biggest source of income, which was this guy's video editing, they were all deleted in like 4 or 5 hours. I wanted to go for a vacation with my girlfriend next month, but looks like there's not gonna be much money for that. Number 2, I wanted to kind of like change up my camera because it was giving me some issues. I don't know how you're gonna do that. Number 3, the computer I was editing videos on was kind of like slow, so I wanted to change that. Boom, all income deleted. How are you gonna do that? And the problem was, I had been on self-improvement for like 2.5 years at that point. I was trying to make YouTube videos, I was trying to make something work, but what was left on my hands? And this was my fuck this moment. I decided to fully change my life after that day, because I was playing off this facade that I was this, entrepreneurial, self-improvement guy, but it was completely empty. There was nothing to it. I was making some money online, but looks like I wasn't making any money online now. It was completely empty. And that was the moment, that was like the moment he told me, we have to let you go, was the exact moment I decided, fuck, I have to change my life. This cannot go like this. And that day taught me 5 lessons I still carry to this day. Now, you guys probably know that I'm a big fan of learning languages. And the thing is, my most viral video on social media ever is a video where I talk about how I learned 2 languages in only 2 years. I think being able to communicate in different languages is actually a superpower. It's something that actually makes you very high value. That's why thanks so much for Promova for sponsoring this video. Promova is an online language learning platform where you can learn English, German, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, and many other languages. To start with, you pick how much you actually want to study every single day to learn your language, and then Promova creates your personalized language learning plan for you. And then every day you log into the app and then you do your daily practice. Each practice generally takes around like 5 minutes, so if you study like 20 minutes per day, it's gonna be like 4 lessons. And the lessons are absolutely enjoyable and they're directed towards actually more practical conversations. So it's not the boring grammar that you don't need. It's an amazing way to actually build up your vocabulary. If you ever thought about learning a new language, Promova is an amazing way to do it. Check out the link in the description if you want to get 60% off from the premium plans. Thanks so much for Promova for sponsoring this video. And here's the thing, this is what I've learned in my own life. This is not probably the world's truth, the world's fools, not right and wrong, but these are, I think, 5 things I've learned from that day I still carry to this day. And these apply to me, and maybe they apply to you as well. Lesson number 1, your income needs to depend on you. It cannot be from someone who can literally fire you the next day. It cannot be from a brand who might decide not to work with you anymore. You need to be the person who decides your income. Because the truth is, you can get fired from jobs. Jobs are not as safe as we think they are. If a company is struggling, the first thing they're going to do is just let people out. Number 2, social media algorithms might change. If you're someone who depends on being viral and like trends on social media, and that's how you make your money, that might be really good for a few months, but when the algorithms change, you might not have like a backup ready. You need to have an actual business where you deliver value to people to be able to survive every time something happens. And the problem that I personally had was, as you can see from the story, my main income was 2 things: editing videos for other people and taking sponsorships from brands. Now, brands will stop working with you if you stop getting views. And people will stop working with you if they're own struggling or if they don't like the videos that you edit, for example. And both of my income, like 90% of my income, honestly 100% of my income was dependent on other people. And that was why I had so much risk, like it was so much dangerous. And I learned that if I built my own business where I controlled my traffic, where I actually controlled every variable, if sales weren't happening, I wasn't good enough. And that meant if I just improved myself in all of these business skills, that I would be able to make the money that I wanted. And that was lesson number 1. Lesson number 2, shit's gonna happen. Get ready. What I realized is, even though I'm not a millionaire, I'm not like, these successful guys on YouTube who are like, 21-year-old dropshipping millionaire. I'm not one of those guys, but what I've seen is until so far in my entrepreneurial journey with the business that I've built, nothing goes as exactly as you planned, even though your plan might be a good one. And here's what happens. Clients stop working with you. Sponsorships get canceled. You get fired. And that's why I think having $1,000 to $2,000 that you kind of like saved up, which is your emergency fund, is something that's very good. And also like Dave Ramsey says that it's good as well. And overall, I think having a little money that you can rely on, you're like, okay, if shit happens, this is, I can save on this. But overall, having this idea of shit's gonna happen. You're running a business. 1 month is gonna be good, 1 month is gonna be bad. Even though you control the variables, you gotta be ready when shit goes bad. And if you're also building a business, right, that means you encounter all the risk. And that means even though your reward might be very, very high, the risk is there. Be ready. And just like you see from today's story, tables can turn real quick. Lesson number 3, nothing is as bad as you think, as well as nothing is as good as you think. Here's the thing. When I lived through that day, I felt like everything was empty. I felt like it was all done because I was trying to build my YouTube channel, trying to not build a business. I was like editing just videos for other people, but I felt like all the work I've done for the last 2 years was all to waste. It was all gone. I felt like everything was done. Well, that's as bad as things can go. But honestly, looking back now, 3 months after that, I was making the same, actually much more money than that. Why? Because nothing that happens in your life is as bad as you think it is, as well as no opportunity that you will come across is going to be as incredible as it is. You might sign your first client, you might feel like it's the most incredible thing in the world, and 2 weeks later you can't deliver the results, the client cancels, and you're like, oh, it's the worst thing in the world now. No, nothing is as bad as you think or as good as you think. Lesson number 4, and this is honestly the most important one in my eyes, which is called results, results, results. You don't matter. The only thing that matters is the thing that you bring to the table, your results. Do not leave your success to luck. If you're a YouTuber, then this is how you don't leave your success to luck. If you actually make incredible videos, people will keep coming back and watching them. If you're not succeeding as a YouTuber, it's your fault. You just cannot bring the results. If you have an agency and people are canceling your subscription, your service, that means you're just not delivering good results. There is a reason why they're canceling. And that means if you're so good at bringing results, nobody's going to cancel. If you're making that good videos, everyone is going to come back and watch those videos. If you're an online fitness coach, let's say, then get so good testimonials that people actually find it illogical not to work with you. So you become successful, not by luck, but by the results that you brought to the table. And looking back now, honestly, if I was the absolute best employee of this YouTuber that I got fired from, right? Probably he would have picked me over other people, or the 2 other people who were also working for him. And when it comes to the brands, if I had the most incredible YouTube channel in the world, then they probably wouldn't be able to drop the sponsorship because it was so valuable for them. So in all cases, it's all my fault because I couldn't bring in the results. And that means if you want to win, if I want to win, I can't leave my success to luck, to momentarily, 2-3 clients working with me, to momentarily 2-3 brands I'm having. That means I need to actually bring results for every single person I'm working for. And lesson number 5, as long as you don't quit, the game is not over.